Let's talk about phase two, move better. Move better is where we can start to have some fun because move better is we're out of pain or we've at least contained and managed that pain to the point where your body can handle higher level movements. And now we get to look at let's say we're looking at an elbow. We get to look at the shoulder and we get to look at the wrist and we get to look at the upper part of your spine and your neck and we get to say, "Hey, why did this elbow start hurting in the first place?" If we're looking at your knee, we look at your hip, we look at your ankle, we look at your lower back, we say, "Why did this start to bug us in the first place?" And what other areas do we have to address in order to get that symptomatic place to stop hurting forever and strengthen all the structures around it so that it comes back better than it was before. So in Move Better, Feel Better, we kind of focus on the bullseye. In Move Better, we move out and we look at the whole target. And we say, okay, we got to get arrows to start hitting the target. We have to start doing movements and interventions to address the root cause of why this happened to somebody. So a lot of the times I'll give certain movements and certain patterns and certain exercises to people and they look at me like, how is this affecting my elbow? And then I get to go into the nerdy anatomy side of things and explain how everything is connected. Um, but we can start to look at and really address any imbalances that you have between the front muscles and the back muscles, between the outside muscles and the inside muscles, between your left muscles and your right muscles. And we can really get into the nitty gritty of why your elbow got symptomatic, or your knee, or wherever the area is that we're treating, why it happened, and how do we make sure that it doesn't happen again, or we significantly reduce the likelihood of it happening again. The biggest predictor of injury is previous injury. So it's my job to make sure that we address that. And if you do come back through my doors, it's either for something completely different or it's to have a cup of coffee with me because everything is doing good, right? So this move better phase usually takes anywhere. This is where we really get stuff stronger. And just physiologically, muscles take between 6 and 8 weeks to physiologically get stronger. It's really important here, really important, the dosage and the feeling. What I mean by that is we call it the Goldilocks effect. We can't do too little volume and repetitions and intensity that we don't make any changes to your physiology. We can't do too much where we overload it and it starts to hurt us again and makes it angry. We have to find what's just right. Right? That Goldilocks and the Three Bears story of this porridge is too hot, this is too cold, this is just right. We have to find what's just right. And depending on what the goal is, if we want to develop power, strength, or endurance, the sets and the reps are really important. And probably more important than that is the feeling of those sets and the reps. So if you can do 6 and fly through them, I have to make it harder for you. And your form stays good, I have to make it harder. If you can do 1 and you're struggling, I have to make it easier for you. That sweet spot, again, depending on what the goal is, power, endurance, or strength, that sweet spot really matters. So if you're flying through it at home, come in and tell me, Kel, these are easy. If you can't do them, tell me, Kel, these are too hard because the dosage is really important. Imagine you went to your primary care doctor and they gave you a prescription for a medicine and you said, well, I'll just take more. I'll just take all of them on the first day. Like that's not how it was prescribed. You're going to do some damage if you take them that way. The prescription is really important and there's a nuance to it and there's an art to it in the field of rehabilitation. That's why my job exists. Is because I can read those nuances. It's my entire job to educate people on how to work this tissue and how to help it heal. Okay? So most important from the the sets and the reps is the feeling. Okay? That's really, really important, especially in this move better phase, because we're trying to get stuff stronger. It physiologically takes muscles between 6 and 8 weeks to physiologically change and get stronger. You'll feel better in that time because your body's incredible and your nervous system will talk and blood flow and there's a lot of other really good things that can happen as we're building those muscles. But that's just the timeline that it takes. Okay. So that's phase two. That is move better. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. Thank you for spending your time and your attention with me today. Keep moving, keep getting better every day.